Hey everybody, welcome to the SMA Journey 51 vlog. Alright guys, in this week's video, I'm going to be talking about a subject that I've been wanting to talk about for a long time, and the subject matter revolves around combination therapies for those of us with SMA. We currently have 3 treatments for our disease. We have Spinraza, Zolgensma, and now we have Evrysdi. And there's a lot of talk within the SMA community as to whether or not one of these treatments could be combined with one of the others for added benefits for those of us with SMA. The company that I work for, BioNews Services, produced a great article out on their website, SMA News Today. And I'm going to be linking this article down in the description of my video, so make sure that you click on the link after you watch my video. That way you can read the article for yourself. But in this article, it goes into great detail about why we think Scholar Rock's potential treatment, known as SRK-015, that they're currently developing, and we hope to get FDA approval on it within the next year, year and a half, possibly 2 years. But SRK-015 is the first and only, at the current time, muscle-targeted therapy for those of us with SMA. And we talk about why we think that SRK-015 may be our greatest hope at a combination therapy. We could finally have something that targets the muscle, and we also could have something that targets the cellular base level of our disease. So take a look at the video that I produced, and then afterwards I'll come back and I'll give you my final thoughts. Thank you. Okay, so the name of the article that I'm going to be reviewing is entitled Muscle and Combo Therapies Likely Next Focus for SMA, Experts Say. While it's not a very long article to review, it's chock full of information, so be sure to pay attention, because I think after we finish, you'll be as excited as I am with regards to what's in store for those of us with SMA. Let's move into the article. In this portion of the article, I'm going to be discussing a couple of paragraphs. The first and second paragraphs state the following. Treatment combinations, including future muscle-targeted therapies, are part of what likely lies ahead for spinal muscular atrophy, according to experts in the SMA community. In separate interviews with SMA News Today, Richard Finkel and Laurent Servais, neurologists who worked on trials of all approved SMA therapies, as well as Karen Chen, the SMA Foundation CEO, discussed what's on the horizon for SMA. It goes on to review the 3 disease-modifying therapies that are approved in the U.S. for patients with SMA: Spinraza, otherwise known as nusinersen, by Biogen; Zolgensma, by Novartis and Avexis; and Evrysdi, otherwise known as risdiplam, by Genentech, which is a subsidiary of Roche. Each one of these therapies target the disease's underlying cause, which is a deficiency in the SMN protein, and while SMN is found in virtually every cell in the body, our motor neurons tend to be highly dependent on this SMN, because without it, SMN becomes less functional and eventually dies without it. While the majority of us already know this information, this is the basis of what I'm going to be discussing next. Okay, so let's move on to the next part of the article. In this section of the article, I'm going to be reading the second, third, and fourth paragraphs to you, because this will be the basis on why combination therapies may be the answer to our disease. While the gene therapy Zolgensma delivers a healthy copy of the SMN1 gene to cells, both Spinraza and Evrysdi treat the disease by targeting SMN2, a gene that can partly compensate for the loss of SMN1-derived SMN protein. A single administration of Zolgensma is expected to promote a sustained production of SMN in cells that do not divide into new cells, like motor neurons, and as such, are less likely to lose the newly introduced gene. But this therapy can only be given once, due to the body's natural production of antibodies against the viral vector that's used to deliver the gene. For this reason, Spinraza or Evrysdi may be natural combinations with Zolgensma for SMA patients, Chen said. It's important to fully understand the last paragraph that I read to you, when it stated that Zolgensma could only be given once due to the body's natural production of antibodies against the viral vector that's used to deliver the gene. Think about it like this. With the COVID-19 virus, researchers know that after you've successfully recovered from this virus, your body starts to build antibodies, which are a way the body could fight it if you happen to get this virus again. These antibodies are naturally produced by the body, and if Zolgensma was given repeatedly, the body would start to build antibodies against Zolgensma, which would then fight against this particular therapy. While the majority of us were hopeful that Evrysdi could be used as a combination therapy along with Spinraza or Zolgensma, there are a couple of contributing factors that lead researchers and medical professionals to agree that this type of combination would not be useful for those of us that are currently taking one of these other treatments. Since both Evrysdi and Spinraza both address the protein deficiency in the SMN2 gene, this makes them believe that a combination of both of these treatments would not show any additional benefit. And while each of these therapies are beneficial in and amongst themselves, combining the two would not only be ineffective, it would also be cost prohibitive. Okay, so let's move on to the next part of the article, because this is where those of us with SMA can start to get excited about a future combination therapy. A new treatment by Scholar Rock, known as SRK-015, may be our next great hope with regards to a combination therapy. The following 6 paragraphs are proof to my last statement, and these words are from Karen Chen, Ph.D., the SMA Foundation CEO, and Dr. Richard Finkel. Treatments that act specifically on muscle, including those intended to prevent the production of myostatin, a molecule that suppresses muscle growth, may well be the next big area in SMA, Chen said. Such therapies may be quite important for older patients with milder forms of SMA, as they can increase function through targeting the muscle. One such potential treatment, known as SRK-015 by Scholar Rock, is currently being evaluated in type 2 and 3 patients in a phase 2 clinical trial called Topaz. As for the SMA Foundation, its CEO said her group's near-term focus is on muscle-targeted therapies fairly well along in clinical trials, while longer-term goals favor regenerative medicine now in preclinical testing. Finkel is also quite eager to see Topaz's results and whether this type of treatment provides added benefits to those targeting SMN. He also expects more SMA therapies aimed at supporting muscle, and more types of these therapies to come along. Academic investigators at places like Harvard and Stanford are really working on a way to transplant stem cells or regenerate neurons, so there might be a possibility for the regeneration of lost motor neurons, which does not happen naturally. We're kind of exploring that, but it's still very early days, Chen said. I'm hopeful. I'm a positively hopeful person. I see a silver lining. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed the video, and I hope you got some information out of it that you can use as well. If SRK-015 gets approval in the next year to 2 years, we could have a treatment that targets muscle along with one of the other treatments that we currently have that targets cellular-based levels of our disease. And by combining these, we could have a brighter future for those of us with SMA, and I hope you're as excited as I am. Hey guys, if you enjoyed this week's video, give me a thumbs up and please subscribe to my YouTube channel. I would greatly appreciate it. Remember, when and if you do subscribe to the channel, make sure that you click on the bell icon. That way you'll be notified of any new videos that I produce. I hope all of you have had a fantastic week. Do me a favor this upcoming week, do something for yourself that's going to make you a better person. God bless you, and I'll see you in a couple of weeks. Bye-bye.